Stop, you crazy? What are you doing, ma'am? Sit. Sit. Rooney, sit. So, this is Rooney. She just got spayed, so she shouldn't be moving around too much. That's why oh, she's got her toy. Nice. Girl, I don't want your toy. Thank you. Thank you. That's very sweet of you. Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Day, and Happy New Year. And she's gonna be doing this a lot throughout the video, but just ignore her. If you notice anything different about me, I'm not wearing my glasses today because I got contacts. Also, don't mind my hair. I just got out of the shower and I just couldn't be bothered to dry it with my blow dryer because I have to watch my dog and she's afraid of it, so. Let's dive into the first video of 2020. This video is actually highly requested, and like the first part that I did to this video is my most viewed video to this day on my channel. I've had a little bit of time to relax and recoup after the awful semester that I had last year. And so now, you know, the cuts aren't so deep, so I feel comfortable talking about Purdue and talking about school again. So today I'm going to be sharing 5 more tips that I have for incoming freshmen at Purdue University. Let's get to it. So tip number 1, it's more of just something that I want to discuss. So Purdue does this thing, it's the freshman orientation, and it's called BGR, which stands for Boiler Gold Rush. And basically what you do is you sign up for it, and I think it's like $315 or something, but you move into the dorms 1 week early, and then you just go to all of these events the week before classes start, and you get to know campus and all this stuff. Personally, I went to BGR and I didn't think it was all out it was cracked up to be. It was nice, like, okay, so I don't want to offend anybody because I know that there are a lot of people that go to BGR and they absolutely love it and they just think it's the best thing in the world, and that's fine. But I don't want to make any of those people mad. So I divided up this section into like a pro-con list because I feel like it's the best way to lay out some things for people, but keeping it respectful. So we'll start with the pros. At BGR, it is really nice that you get to move in a week early, and when you go down, there are a bunch of people who are going to help you move into your dorm. The way I could describe it is like a sandwich train. You know how like in Subway they send the sandwich down the line? When you pull up, you're gonna like check in, and then a bunch of people are gonna come to your car, and they're gonna just start unloading stuff and putting it in these, like those elevator roller things. And they're gonna ask you what your room number is, and then they're just gonna take it to your room and they're gonna drop it off in your dorm room. They're not gonna like set anything up, obviously, but they're gonna get all of it in there for you. So that was really nice because it saved a lot of trips to the car, and I don't think me and my dad alone could have handled like all the crap that I brought down to Purdue. If you wanna know a list of things that you will and will not need when you move into your freshman dorm, then like this and comment below because I can also make a video about that. And the overall, it just made move-in go so much faster because while I was checking in, all of my stuff was being taken to my room, and I was like, wow, okay, this is awesome. You do make some friends. You'll have a group of people that you will tour and spend basically your whole entire week with during BGR, and normally these people are people that live in your dorm or in like the 2 surrounding dorms next to yours. So it's kind of nice to have friends, and I say friends lightly because most of the time you don't really like stay friends with the people in your BGR group. I know some people who have, but it's just like not likely. Like I said, you tour around campus, and so it's kind of nice if you haven't been to Purdue before, just like getting your bearings, and you walk a lot of the same routes, so you get to know like this is how you get here, this is how you get there. And the person who leads you around campus is going to be a TL, which means they're someone who already goes to Purdue and they kind of like know the lay of the land. And so they can give you some tips and just like, you know, fastest ways to get to classes or just like stuff like that. You also get to know the traditions of Purdue and all of the landmarks, like the bell tower, and there's a bunch of fountains. There's like a lion fountain that is supposed to bring you good luck if you drink from all 4 heads. And so you just like learn a bunch of stuff like that, and you get to jump over the railroad tracks, which is like you jump over at the beginning of your time at Purdue, and then you jump back when you graduate. So it's like opening the circle, closing the circle, that kind of thing. So yeah, there are like, you know, there are some pros, and it is fun. Like, they have fun events. I know at the end of the week they do like a rave, or at least my year they did a rave over at the co-rec, and that was really cool. But yeah, so those are all the pros that I can really think of. Now let's move on to the cons. And I personally have more cons than pros, but this is also all subjective. So these are cons for me. They might not be that big of a deal for other people, but for me, they were just like, ugh, this sucks. So the first thing that I'm gonna mention is BGR is like the sweatiest week of your life. Like, I went down and I was so warm. I probably changed my clothes 4 times a day because of how much I sweat. And it's just so hot outside. Like, it's August, early August, and you're spending time, this is the other thing. So every day during BGR, you're gonna wake up super early. Whether it's you have 3 breakfast shifts that you have to eat with your team, and it's either the 6 a.m. shift, the 7 a.m. shift, or the 8 a.m. shift, or something like that. It might be like 6:30 or 8:30 or something. But regardless, you're waking up at a pretty early time, and you spend all day walking around and like doing things. So you're out in the sun, and it is hot. And this also directly leads into another thing. It is a smelly time, because not only is it hot, but there's like 6,000, 60,000 people there. I don't know. I think it was like 6,000 people in my class of freshmen, and it's just so many people. Like, there are so many people everywhere, and they're all rubbing up against each other, and not everyone knows how to use deodorant apparently, and so it's just smelly and sweaty and sticky and gross. And so, like I said, that might be shallow of me to say, but I was not a fan of that. It was awful. What else? It's kind of expensive now that I think about it. Like, the prices that they make you pay just to move in early or like get their help, I was like, that sucks, but you know, it's whatever. BGR is also a little bit unorganized. There are a lot of crowds, and so your team leader will hold up a podium, or what are those things called? A totem pole. And it's like hard to spot in a sea of 6,000 people. And so it's kind of easy to get lost if you aren't really paying attention, if you're not a fast walker. I don't know. I'm gonna try and end this tip here though, because I know it's like, I've been talking about it for a while, but I just want people to know that like BGR is not mandatory. You don't have to go to BGR. It is definitely helpful if you want to move in early and if you want to get to know campus, but there are also just like a lot of things about it that I wish I would have known before I went, because it wasn't really what I thought it would be. And so yeah, BGR is not mandatory. You don't have to go. Moving on. That also leads me to tip number 2, or just like, not even really a tip, but just things that I wish I would have known. When you're a freshman, you don't have to live in the dorms. You are not required to live there. It's not a mandatory thing. And there are so many other housing options that are way cheaper. If you're going to be looking for an apartment or something like that, then I would suggest as soon as you find out you are accepted to Purdue, start looking, because usually by October is when people start looking for their apartment for the next year. And so if you're trying to go that route, then start as early as you can, because living in a dorm is expensive. And if I could go back, that's another thing I would change. I wouldn't live in a dorm, because now that I look back at it, it was just like it was fun and it was nice to get the college experience, but it was just an unnecessary expense that I could have avoided. And so if you don't want to live in the dorm, you don't have to. I personally didn't hate dorm life. It was kind of small and kind of cramped, but I am someone who's 6'2", so take that with a grain of salt. You can live wherever you want as long as you can find somewhere to live. So the third tip that I have for freshmen is to really pay attention to your mental and physical health, because that is often the first thing to go when people get stressed out. And freshman year of college is a stressful time for everyone. Like, I remember in high school, I was someone who would wake up super early and be busy all day with school and extracurriculars and stuff like that. And then I would come home super late from the high school do my homework, shower, and stay up until like 2 or 3 in the morning, and then wake up at 7 the next day again, and I was fine. I wasn't fine. I was sleep deprived, but you know what I mean. I was generally okay. I still maintained a good grade point average. But I don't know what happens when you go to college. The classes are, I don't want to scare anyone, but they're significantly more difficult than high school. And so you can't have unhealthy practices like that and still thrive at college. Like, I feel like physical health, just make sure you're showering and you wear shower shoes in the shower. I don't care how clean you think your feet are. You don't want toe fungus or any nasty stuff on your feet. I take a vitamin every day, and I also, if I feel myself getting sick, I drink vitamin C water. What else? I had a essential oil diffuser down at school that I would use. Take your physical health seriously, because being sick at college sucks. It's way worse than being sick at home. And your mental health is really important too. My freshman year of college, my mental health was absolutely garbage. I suggest keeping a journal and just like writing all of your thoughts down in it at the end of the day. You can also take advantage of the counseling services that Purdue offers. I have never gone, but I plan on going this semester just to see what it's about, and yeah, go in there, check it out, use the resources that are available to you, because keeping your mind and body healthy is absolutely essential when you're in college. It's just like one of the golden rules. You just have to do it. So my fourth tip is about scheduling. I know that if you are going to Purdue, you have to schedule a STAR day, which is when you come down to Purdue and you meet your advisor and you schedule your classes and stuff like that. And I'm just gonna tell you firsthand, if you haven't been to your STAR date yet, or if you're nervous about it, they are stressful. Just because it's your first time coming to Purdue and like figuring out what your schedule is going to be like. And I hate that they make you do it in the summertime, because I feel like it doesn't really give you a lot of time to prepare, but that's just how I am. But every person that I've ever talked to after their STAR date has said it like stressed them out and overwhelmed them. So it's normal to be overwhelmed when you come down and you're scheduling your classes. Some tips that I will give you though for scheduling is look at the building that your classes are going to be in and make sure that they are within walking distance of each other. Because if your classes are stacked and you can't make it there in time, you're gonna be like me freshman year, sprinting from one end of campus to the other just to get to a math class and hating your life every Friday when you had to do that. It was just a horrible experience. So first of all, look at that. And second of all, I would just highly advise not to take, if you can help it, don't take morning classes, because you're used to waking up every day at 7:30 to go to high school, but college, like I said, is just really stressful and it's a whole different ballgame. So if you're a morning person, that's great, more power to you, but I took a 7:30 chemistry lab on a Monday, my first semester in college, and I wanted to die. I hated it so much. So if you know yourself and you're like, I don't know if I could do that, just opt out, do not do it. Save yourself. Take the later classes. I also would advise you to get a little folder and keep all of the paperwork for your scheduling in that folder and bring it with you every time you go to schedule with your advisor. That's what I do, and it allows me to kind of know what I have left. And I also come in with certain classes that I want to take. Ask your advisors about like any fun classes that you think you might want to take. There are dance classes at Purdue, there are theater classes, there's a wine tasting class if you're 21, there are classes where you watch movies, there's history of basically anything you can think of, history of rock and roll, history of American beauty, there are women and gender studies classes, there are art classes you can take, botanical illustration, there's music theory, there's so many fun classes that people can take that I feel like don't get asked about. So my degree at Purdue is mainly all science classes. I've had to take organic chemistry, genetics, biochemistry, plant physiology, stuff like that. And so I always like to balance out those classes with a fun class. So this semester I'm taking a theater class, but I'm also going to be taking history of horticulture and greenhouse management and stuff like that. So I always like to balance it out with something that I'm going to be really excited about and that is kind of like a de-stressor, because you owe that to yourself. You don't want to be hating your life, and I don't know why I have nothing in my hand. Stop. You are so goofy. But yeah, so that's my little, those are my tips about scheduling. And my final little word of advice today, just like really, not really even advice, it's just a heads up. When you come to Purdue, if you go to BGR, you're gonna learn about free zone. And basically the Purdue campus is seen as a free zone. What that means is that people are allowed to, if they want, they can put a pedestal, they can put a box down, stand up on it, and scream at you about their opinions and their beliefs, and basically you can't do anything about it. You can argue with them, but they're allowed to do it because it's a free zone and their opinions matter, and they're expressing their First Amendment. And so I didn't know this. They told us about it at BGR, but they were very like nonchalant about it, and they were like, yeah, they made it seem like everyone has the right to their own opinion, blah, 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 which is fine. Yes, I believe in that. That's amazing, whatever. But they didn't tell me or any of us that during school, there are religious people and just people in general who will do that, and they are very aggressive. Like, I have been called out before because of my tattoos by this one religious man who pointed at me and said I was going to hell because I marked on God's body. And it's just like, it doesn't even end there though. Like, they will scream any nonsense out on campus to try and get crowds to argue with them. Personally, I never argue with them. Sometimes if I have extra time, I just sit and listen to the absolute crap that they spew at people because it's so spiteful and so hateful. But I just like want people to be prepared because that will happen, and it's not like, don't take it to heart. Like, it is frustrating and it's very like, I don't know, it's just like bizarre because it's not something that I ever have witnessed before, but they will call you out and they will be screaming about whores and gay people going to hell and tattoos, and how if you have tattoos you're bad, if you have sex before marriage you're bad, if you wear short shorts they will call you out for it, if you're a boy and you're riding your skateboard topless they will yell at you. And so I just want people to know that that is a thing that happens, and to not take it to heart and just ignore them, or just sit around and listen to the people who kind of like argue back. It's kind of entertaining and funny, but at a certain point you gotta like, you know, rein it in and go home. But yeah, so don't be surprised if there are, you know, crazy religious people holding up signs about going to hell and burning in hell and stuff. I know it sounds so like, don't be upset, I know it sounds very nonchalant and like, but it really is, because it is. Like, it's just, I don't know. Once you're there, like at first it's very, when you first see it, it is very shocking, but after the 10th time walking past him and hearing him scream, you're just gonna put your headphones back in and get used to it. It's whatever, it's real life, whatever. So yeah, those are my 5 little tidbits for you freshmen. Sorry the lighting is so trash. It is awful in Indiana today. It's like gray up in the sky and there's sleet coming down. It's disgusting, but I figured I have to film this and get it up. But yeah, like I said, if you have any video suggestions, or if you want to hear anything more about Purdue, or if you have any questions at all for me, leave them in the comments below. I will be more than happy to answer anything that you guys are curious about. I love getting comments. Any feedback is appreciated. But yeah, so I think that's where I'm gonna end it today. Thank you so much for watching, and if you aren't subscribed already and you want to, you can always hit the subscribe button. You can like this video if you like it. You can comment below if you love my dog. Wish me luck. I'm going back down to Purdue tomorrow, and fingers crossed that this semester is going to be nicer than the last one. As always, thank you so much for watching. It means the world to me that you guys support me and that you do click on my videos. And yeah, I hope wherever you are, you have a wonderful day or night. I love you so much, and I will see you in my next one. Bye, guys.